Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, I want to talk to you about champion power surge since the Cursed City was released. So there's definitely like a pool of champions in this rotation which are massively surging in value just because they're able to deal with some of the kind of unique mechanics that Amius has got. I will say, even though this video is kind of relevant for now, the conditions will change every time we get a reset on the Cursed City. So it does mean that there's going to be almost like a new flurry of champions that you might need for the next rotation, As far as we can work out, there's probably a mixture of about 5 different rotations that could come in. So doesn't mean that these are forever going to get you through the fight, which is, I guess, a bit of a tough one. But I'm going to go through 6 areas you want to consider, and then I'll kind of like call out some of the best champions that are in the current pool for each of those areas. So we've got heal reduction on the boss is super important. Putting decreased attack on the boss is actually really beneficial as well. Some champions to remove stuns, champions to heal your team, and then almost like the 2 areas which are not necessarily a surplus, but almost like this is a Brucey bonus if you can fit them in. Buff strippers and damage dealers. Yeah, you almost don't have damage dealers in this squad. You rely on Brimstone to be your damage, which is not the best mechanic, but it is what it is. So let's go through and start off then with the heal reduction champs. There's like a number 1 by probably a mile that people are using right now, and that is Venomage. Venomage is definitely the best epic for this fight in the game. Yeah, and if you get one who's awakened, and in fact, I'm not really spoken about it, but anyone that I talk about here, the higher the awakening level you've got, the better they will perform for you in this fight. Awakenings make, and by awakenings, I mean blessings, by the way. Blessings make a massive difference to your survivability. But Venomage is so good. So she's got the heal reduction, which is super important for this fight. Goes on a 3 turn. But probably what she's got over anyone else who's going to be doing this heal reduction is also reducing the damage you take when heal reduction is out there. That's why she is the absolute best person for this fight. For this ability. The poisons are a little bit of an added bonus. You do a little bit of damage from poison, but honestly, it's just heal reduction plus passively reducing your damage. It's so clutch. She does bring decreased attack as well. So pretty much all of her kit, it was as if it was made for this fight. So yeah, Venomage goes up there as number 1. The other champion that people are using a lot if they don't have her is good old favorite, Coldheart. She comes back for so much content. She is back again. You build her completely different in this game mode than you do in any other because basically all you want to be doing is landing heal reduction. That's what she's in there for. She's got 4 times to try and do it. Each hit books to a 35% chance. Most times you hit an A1, you've got a decent chance of landing it. You don't really care about damage. I'll show you how I built mine quickly because actually it's so... I've not built her in the traditional Coldheart way at all. So my one here, I put this Faultless Defense Blessing on because she's actually going to be my target for the content I was running. But check this out. As high defense as I can muster, over the 250 speed, accuracy to land her stuff. And then, you know what? If we land a Heartseeker because heal reduction's already on, great, we get a bit of extra damage as well. But you know, even her masteries are all about reducing the damage she's going to take if she's going to be the tanking up those nasty A1s. But yeah, she's all about landing the A1, the heal reduction. Someone else in the Dark Elves that you might have on your account just sitting around doing nothing. Unfortunately, you kind of got a 6-star and max out these champions for them to be relevant for this content, especially if you're doing hard, even if you're doing normal, to be fair. So you know, I would it's difficult. Luria is not the best epic in the game, right? You know, someone like a Venomage, you can use Venomage all over the place. Luria is okay as an epic, but she does bring this A1, which gives you a chance to land heal reduction, and it's quite a high chance to land it. But still, she's not the best epic in the game, and you know, if she's your only option, then maybe you use her, but otherwise, I would kind of steer clear because, you know, what else you're going to do? I guess if something lands right, then you could use this block revive ability at exactly the right moment. It's almost unlikely that's going to happen. if if he revives if he's got the Eclipse buff on, or you could time it somehow that this works. But anyway, probably not. It's literally just that she's got a heal reduction. That's the only reason she gets a look. This one, I am wondering if there could be something quite funky with this dude, right? So Vargal actually has got a very good heal reduction chance on his A1. So that's very nice. And he also brings a decreased attack on his A3, which is cool as well. He's got some destroying enemy max HP, which could be useful, bearing in mind how much this guy heals if you're not getting your heal reduction on. I just wonder if there might be something funky that could be done with Skullsworn. I don't know, because he does just kind of like chain kill everybody if he kills anyone. So it's probably a no. But outside of that, the heal reduction A1 with a decreased attack, he's at least covering a couple of the skills that you want. So it could be someone sitting in your vault that you had from a fusion time long gone by that could come out and do some work. Then the last one in this group is going to be... where is he? What is he? High Elf? No, Dark Elf? Vizier, sorry, it's Dark Elf. Yeah, and again, just because he's bringing decreased attack and heal reduction. All I would say is wait until the boss has used his A3 ability before you put your heal reduction on, especially if it's someone who is not doing heal reduction with their A1. Yeah, so you don't want to blow your ability. He then flips the heal reduction into a heal, and you're like, I've done it wrong. So if you haven't watched my video from yesterday, you should watch that as well, because that will show you kind of like the rotation and how you get this done. So they're for me the best ones in this current rotation for heal reduction. We've got 3 decreased attack champions, which are all very good. All bring something a little bit different to the table as well. So again, Ultan, probably sitting in your vault nowadays, used to be God tier. Now he's just been massively power crept. But we've got a decreased attack A1 with a 75% chance to land. Very good. Decreased attack, even though he will eventually flip decreased attack to increased attack, it's still worth having on as often as you can put it on. Yeah, this guy hits incredibly hard. If you could combine a decreased attacker with someone who does like some sort of buff strip to make sure that you take away any increased attacks that pop up, then even better. But yeah, decreased attack, I found one of the best ways to keep this dude from absolutely nuking you. Then his A2 will spread an increased defense for your team. Once he's already tried to remove buffs, you can put this out there and obviously keep yourself alive for the nuking version of Amius. Another one in the mix here is the Mighty Uko. This one I showed in my video yesterday. Decreased attack. The reason why I like Uko is because you also got the buff strip on the A2 if something goes wrong. And you've also got a revive if something goes wrong. So very, very solid champ to be bringing in. And then the other one who's in this current rotation as an epic, actually Jareg. Jareg's got a decent chance to land a decreased attack on the A1. And there's also got some ally protection buffs if you're trying to protect someone from Amius in his nuke state. But you don't want to be putting that out too early. You want to make sure that he's used his A3 before you put that out. Okay, next group then is some champions that can remove the stun from Amius's first form. There's some people that do it naturally. So if you're lucky enough to have this Void legendary to Hanorach, every time she gets a turn, she's got a chance to remove a debuff. She's super good for this. Makes her really, really useful because she's also got the decreased attack on the A2. Yeah, very, very helpful champ to have in your roster for this. But if you want to try and like plan to block it, one of the best champions that you can pick up is a past fusion, which is Pythian. So if you've got Pythian, then he's super good for this. A bit like Venomage, he becomes a bit of a best in slot because he's got a number of the things going on. He's healing on his A1. Every time he A1s, he heals someone who is under pressure. On his A2, he does the cleanse and heal and block debuffs. Yeah, so tons going on the A2. But if you put the block debuffs out before the stun lands, then that's a very useful buff to have on your team. And before he flips form back from damage mode to normal mode, block debuffs there to stop you taking the stun is very, very useful. He's also got a revive and strengthen. So the strengthen you can use to force Amius into using his A3 and then A2 in his second form, the damage form, which means that you won't be taking A1s. So Python's got a lot going on, and he's also got this kind of like passive damage reduction, which is really useful as well. A bit like the Venom Age's passive damage reduction. Champion that I've been using for content that I've shown you so far is actually Mithrala, who you get from doing Hydra. So again, she's got this cleanse ability. So instead of blocking the stun, she cleanses the stun. Sometimes the timing can go a bit off on this, honestly, but it's not bad. And she gives you a shield as well. You just need to be aware that if you've got shields out when Amius is in his normal form and he hits you, it will heal a ton if you do not have heal reduction on. So you need to make sure that you time this right with somebody that's already put a heal reduction out. The other thing which Mithrala is doing actually is just throwing poisons out, which is a bit of damage. And you can use her A2 to force the kind of like buff switch on you. So if you want to force an A3 ability, you can use that ability to do that. I'd go with a rare. I've not tried using this champion, but I just thought she fits the role actually really well. So we've got a 2-turn block debuff on Marked. And the only thing with Marked, and you might be able to get a way cheaper high-level star, Awakening for... I keep calling it an Awakening, but Blessing for Marked. So you could push a much higher star rating for much cheaper if you wanted like a tank to be tanking up the second form, whilst also giving you a block debuff ability. So, she comes in clutch now and then, but this actually could just be someone that you could go out and grab. If you don't have better options, especially if you're doing normal, you could come in and do the job quite comfortably, I think. 2 more harder ones to pick up then. We've got Elva, does a great job. She's covering 2 roles, so she's got that block debuff ability that you need if you want to try and avoid those stuns. But she's also got this passive healing. Passive healing is so useful in this fight. Just keeping everybody topped up is so damn useful. And then she throws out continuous heals as well. So she's kind of like top tier for this fight. And then the last one I was going to call out here, again, might be a Void Legendary you've got just sitting in your vault. So we do have Blind Seer that does a big shield and block debuffs on the same ability, which would be pretty useful. The rest of her kit, which you've got to revive if things go wrong, but the rest of her kit's kind of useless, honestly. But yeah, she needs a buff. She does need a buff, but she could be used in this fight. So we talk about heals then. We've already spoken about Elva for passive healing. I used in my video yesterday the freebie Seal of the Drakes for exactly the same reason you would use an Elva. Just the ability to put the heal passively on your team. It's massive. Nothing else that she does makes any sense apart from having like a fallback revive if you need it. But she could be pretty damn useful. Someone I'm seeing being used a ton. What is she? Is Awella. So Awella is doing a couple of jobs here. She has got big heal on her A2. So heal all allies by 30% on a 3-turn if you book it. She's also got a increased resistance buff on her A3, which you can use to force Amius to use his A3, A2 in his damage form. So you're not taking those A1s. This is quite a useful one to bring in to just basically force Amius into a rotation that you want to deal with. So yeah, she is actually pretty damn useful. If anyone's taking high levels of damage, then she's putting continuous heals out as well. Someone that, again, might be sitting around finding it difficult to use her, but Sky Touch Shaman, epic, passive healing, basically. Well, not passive healing, but she heals your team whenever she's taking a turn. So she deals 10% max HP to herself, heals all allies for basically half of the HP that she loses. So if you put her in something like a regen set, then she can basically, every time she has a turn, she's healing the whole team. And she's got some healing going on her A1 as well. She also brings the block debuffs. So actually like doing a couple of jobs with one champion here potentially. And the last one, which I really like to use myself, actually, I was doing a few runs with this on the test server. Woad Painted's A2 is a fantastic heal. So it can definitely like top your whole team up and yeah, getting them back in the fight. So Woad painted. Unfortunately, it's a shame she doesn't have something else going on in her kits that makes any sense for PvE content, because this is a great heal and then the rest of it is literally useless. Doesn't mean though you don't need to build her with any accuracy or anything like that. You literally just build her high HP because she heals based on max HP surplus healing. So yeah, you know, decent regen set and high HP, and she could be your healer super well. You do want to keep her high HP because she heals for surplus healing. In terms of buff strippers, we've already spoken about Uko as a good one. There's also a champion that pretty much everybody should have, as long as you've played the game for any length of time, because he was a freebie. Sun Wukong basically steals all buffs from enemy, then puts block buffs in its place. So you'd want to do this straight after the kind of like form flip from Amius. The rest of his kit not really doing anything for you, honestly. And you don't want him to die unless you're going to pair him with Cronum. But yeah, he is decent for this kind of like buff strip. And again, someone else that you might have, because she's been around for a while and she's very useful, is Madame. So Madame, do the buff strip, but also replace it with decreased defense and decreased attack. So it's on a 4-turn. It's not the best. Nothing else that she's doing is particularly useful, but that can be a kind of clutch moment. Again, it might be that you've got a high star rating Madame. If you have, then she would come in and be quite clutch for that type of role. So the last category I want to talk about then is damage. Now, I will say, pretty much if you've got any of these champs, certainly the legendary ones, and they're going into your team, you put Brimstone on them, Brimstone is your damage. Yeah, that's pretty much where most damage will come from, unless you're running one of these crazy teams that are out there. But the best champion I've seen to actually do damage and kill this guy fast is Cronum. I don't have him. I didn't go through the hassle of getting him, honestly. But if you've done it, you've got yourself a Cronum through the referral thing. He has been the fastest champion that I've seen that can take this guy down. Basically pairing Cronum, Wukong, and Demasa. And Cronum's burn with burn activation is just absolutely slaying this boss super quick. I'll show you in a second how quick it is in the like best time stuff. Other champions that can do damage though and do it quite well. Nishak is very useful for this. So throwing out bombs which get replaced into poisons that can't be removed is very good. Any type of bomb damage or poison damage, he doesn't do anything with those debuffs other than eat them up, take damage. So Nishak can do that. All you need to be aware of is that he will just fill up the debuff bar. Yeah, you will have no more space for like decreased attacks and stuff. So if you're going that route, then you really need to have quite a tanky team to be able to deal with it. But yeah, he just pumps poisons and bombs, and it will eventually do the work that you need it to do to kill the boss. Then the last one on my damage group is someone that I picked up quite recently, Dark Kael. So Dark Kael can put poison sensitivity with poisons out, and he's also got the decreased attack, which is useful on a 3-turn, and he can pop poisons and burns instantly to do damage. So the other thing with Dark Kael, which is useful, is that if there's poisons out there, then the boss will massively reduce his crit chance. And this boss has actually a higher crit chance than most bosses in the game. So he is someone to be aware of. Let me just show you this. Near enough any content in Raid has got a 15% chance to crit you. So if I come onto hellhades.com here, by the way, we are running a Christmas giveaway right now. If you want to come and check out this post, 3 years of making content, you'll be able to see how you can enter if you want to. So yeah, what I'm looking for, Raid Stages tool. Where's it gone? Why has it moved? Right over here. Taff moved it. He's trying to trick me whilst I'm recording. So yeah, if you come into Cintranos, come and check out Amius and then Hard. So this boss has got a 50% crit rate. Most content, if not all other content, I think in the game has got 15. This boss has got 50. So that's actually nasty, right? That is a nasty boss there. So reducing it by 15, well, instead of 1 in 2 hits, it's a 1 in 3 hits that you're going to take a nuke. And it's actually the nukes that are killing you most of the time, probably, rather than, you know, like normal hits. So I guess outside of that, that's what I would call like the run-of-the-mill group. If we actually look at the best teams that are beating Amius at the moment, it's Kraken stuff, honestly. But Fushan is a massive damage dealer. Turvold is a massive damage dealer. But building a team to make that happen requires a lot of very specific parts, very specific blessing levels. So, you know, a bunch of the champs that are here are not ones that I've spoken about. Rorik can also do a ton of damage through counter-attacking because he ignores Amius's defense. Amius's defense is through the roof. But you will see a bunch of the different champs that I've spoken about in this list as we kind of scroll down the best teams. And yeah, the specific one I wanted to show you was the Kronen one. So I've seen, I think it's Mullet Reaver has done a video on this team where he's using Kronen and Dimasa to take this boss down in a bit of a cheese style, which is, you know, you can see the turns taken here. It's super quick and very effective. So if you've got that combo, another Kronen damage dealer here, getting him down quick. If you've got that combo, then that's going to help you out as well. So that's it. They're the champions that so far have kind of risen in value. Let me know if you're using any other kind of like more obscure ones down below so that other people can take advantage of that as well. I've been Hell Hades. I'll see you soon.